James Nordin, thanks so much for joining us. James, we're down here at William Perkins School at Disability Trials, the third of three. From your perspective as captain of the D40 First 11, how have they gone?
Yeah, really, really good. It's great to see the emerging talent that's coming through our pathway up through Super 1s and the Champions Clubs and pushing into our Super 9s, our development squad, and then up into our first and second team. And it's really where the base of our strength over the last few years has come through our pathway and the players who have progressed through that. So it's really great to see more of that happening across the last 3 weekends.
I think the last time we spoke, James, was probably up at Finchley, and it was just before you set off with Sammy to India with England. Haven't caught up with you since. How was the tour? How was the experience? And how much did you enjoy the experience of playing over in India on really alien conditions?
Yeah, it was a really incredible life experience as much as just a cricket experience. We didn't quite come back with the result we wanted. We lost 3-2, but to go out there on our first tour of India, win 2 games, including winning the final game in the Narendra Modi Stadium, was a pretty amazing experience and quite a big achievement for the squad, and hopefully has prepped us really well for our next challenge in the new year. And from a personal perspective, I've not been out to that part of the world before to have the opportunity to go out there for 2.5 weeks and tour an amazing country with some of my best friends was absolutely brilliant.
Fantastic. Back on home soil, it was obviously quite a memorable year, to say the very least, for Middlesex's D40 First 11. James, you've been involved in the programme for 8 years now, I think. You've obviously seen the programme develop over that period of time. Obviously, this year you had the delight of captaining our D40 side to the national title. How much was that experience enjoyable to you personally? Yeah,
really amazing. It's been the culmination of 8 years of really hard work while I've been involved, but actually the work that's gone into it goes far beyond that. And yeah, to finally get over the line, I think we've been runners-up 3 years in a row to 3 different teams, to finally get over the line last year and go and finally bring that title home was really amazing, and it's testament to the hard work that both staff and players have put in over the last 5 years to build the squads that we've got, and to produce the performances we did last year was amazing.
A little word on the head coach, Andy Healy, obviously only joined us at the start of last season. He took over from Michael Wilson, who I think was probably at the helm since the programme started some 10 or 11 years ago. I think Andy will be the first to admit that he inherited a programme that was already flourishing, but how much of a difference has Andy made at the helm, and what's it like working for him as opposed to Michael prior to him?
Yeah, I think the first thing I'd say is we are where we are as a programme because of the work that Michael had put in and the foundations. He took it from a programme that had no players and got it off the ground to a place where we've been competing for national titles from a first team space for the last few years and built a really strong pathway beneath it. Andy's come in and done some really good stuff around, I think, the structure that we've had in place. He's really driven sort of competition for places within the squad. I think we've seen the emerging talent really come through in the strength of performances in the second team, and starting to see guys like Joe Batten, Fraser Church, Connor Flaunty come in and really challenge in the first team as well, which has really helped us move up a gear. The structure that he's put in place across training and across sort of the way we've approached our programme of the summer has really paid dividends, and he's worked really hard, and it's been great working with him, and hopefully we'll go and repeat it again this coming summer.
There were some real standout performances, James, across the season. The one that really springs out to me is that performance down in Sussex, when I think George Greenway probably wrote the headlines, but you had a hell of a game yourself. You got a 5-wicket haul and I think a 50, and then you were surpassed by George, who I think hit 50 off 12 balls, his second 50, wasn't it? Some game that was. Yeah,
it was pretty extraordinary. I was quite lucky, so we actually had quite a shaky start, and I think it goes a little bit under the radar, the work that's, Ariam batted really, really well, where their bowlers bowled really well up top, the ball moved around quite a lot, and a few of our lads worked really hard to see off the new ball, and then George came in against the spinners, and I was quite lucky. I had the best seat in the house to watch George just start losing cricket balls and hitting them out of the ground at handstand. He batted phenomenally well. I was kind of, I think, I was replicating the blueprint as to how we want to bat, how we want to construct innings across 40 overs, and he was extraordinary on that day, the way he struck the ball, and it was nice to sort of contribute a little bit alongside him as well. And then, to transfer that with the way we bowled as well on that day was really good, and it was nice on a personal level to lead from the front and take a few wickets on that day. But it was probably the best performance we had as a team across the season. Hopefully we're able to string a few more days like that together again this coming year.
Last one for me, James. Obviously the defence of that national title starts here and now at winter training. Boys are obviously working extremely hard. How do you go about defending that title? Because obviously it's one thing winning it, the hardest thing is hanging on to it.
Yeah, 100%. Like we're very aware of the scale of the challenge. So no, I don't think any team's gone back to back since 2016, and across the last 5 seasons, we're the 5th different winner. So the strength across the country in depth is just increasing, and the challenge of winning is just getting harder and harder. So we're aware of the challenge. We know that we are the team that's going to have a target on our back now, and teams are going to be coming for us. So we're working really hard. It's started across the last 3 weeks, and yeah, we'll continue that into the new year. Hopefully, put ourselves in the best place possible to hit the ground running in May.
James, good to hear. Thanks so much for joining us, and all the very best of luck with those challenges.
Cheers, Fletch.